Do you want to know the business model where your entire business is designed to have structural cost advantages that competitors cannot match? Are you trapped in a high-cost business model? Are you watching low-cost competitors undercut you while they make great margins and your margins are like super slim? Are you trying to cut costs incrementally while competitors have fundamentally different cost structures? Are you frustrated because you're trapped in this high-cost business model and you don't know how to get out of it? Then let's talk about the low-cost design business model. So the low cost, we talked a little bit about Southwest in that they only ran point-to-point routes.
And use specific equipment.
We wouldn't use specific equipment. There's also IKEA. Like you might consider IKEA low quality. However, it's a low cost to them, right, to produce business model. And then Dropbox is another one of the, and Dropbox is really any online subscription kind of product where if you onboard to their solution, their cost, because they've already set up their infrastructure and everything, is near zero to onboard you. Nobody talks to anyone. Nobody knows that you joined the platform. I know we talk about Southwest as far as airlines, but there are other airlines like Spirit Air, Ryanair. There's other things that are known for being low cost. Yeah. They're known for being low cost carriers. And grocery stores do this too. They have like knockoff generic products and whatnot. Low cost. It costs them nearly nothing to produce. High margin. The strengths of these business models. It's a structural cost advantage. Your business model structurally creates these cheap products that other competitors, they'd have to invest a lot of capital to make things that cheap. And they're just not going to, you know.
Yeah, and you could be profitable at a lower revenue. Cost is lower.
Because your cost is lower. And in order to do that, the discipline required to be able to do that, like in the case of Southwest, is like, well, how many mechanics would like American Airlines, for example, have? Well, all Southwest mechanics, they're all 737 mechanics, 100% of them.
Yeah.
And like, okay, well, it's pretty to train the new mechanics on the new fleet. Pilots would be another one. You train your new pilots on all the new...
Pilots is a good one, because, I mean, obviously your costs are higher there to train pilots. I agree. I think that's true. Whereas the alternative, like another airline, they could have other disadvantages. Like your one or two mechanics that you have specifically for an equipment, like, I don't know what that might be, 777. They're not available. Right. Out sick.
Right.
Now what do you do? Whereas here, you can bring someone in at the drop of a note, quick notice, because it's all 737. It gives you those advantages.
You know, the strengths that I really enjoy about this business model, and you don't even need to be like low cost, in my mind, shares space with like cheap. You know what I mean? Like cheap meaning like low quality. It doesn't have to be low quality. Because like in the case of like a Southwest Airlines, for example, or like a Dropbox, we do one thing.
Do it well.
We do file sharing, file syncing. You install the thing on your computer. It syncs your files to the cloud that you put in there. You have a limited amount of space, but it syncs your files to the cloud, and any other computer that you join like gets those files. That's it. That's the only thing we do. Now Dropbox does a million things. That's good. Like they kind of don't understand what they were good at, but that one thing, if you can keep your company costs in control, your scalability, if you can keep the low costs in control, boy, that competitive moat that you just drew around yourself,
formidable, isn't it?
They'll really have to sabotage themselves. I think about like a Google or somebody to say like, hey, we're willing to lose money for 10 years to be able to compete with you. I would expect, like, why would they do that? I can think of like the Amazon 6-pager of like, we should lose money for 10 years just because nobody else is competing. I don't think they would do that. I think at an Amazon level, one of the big boys out there, I think they would just buy you, and then that'd be the end of it. You know, that's more likely that's what they'll do than try to roll their own solution. It is a moat. I mean, the pricing has to be right, but it is a moat.
Yeah, I agree, and it is quite a solid proposition there. So it's a formidable moat if you get it right. So lastly, on this, the 4 column, low cost allows you to scale better than high cost alternatives because again, your costs are low, so your scaling costs are correspondingly lower as well, where your costs are higher. So growth is more efficient for your money, right?
So in the weaknesses, we already talked about quality. Let's just lay that one out on the table and kind of look at what it means. So low cost, oh boy. I will tell you right now, I am not getting on a Spirit Airlines aircraft right now. I like oxygen mask when my plane goes over 10,000 feet and needs to descend.
Now you're asking for too much.
You know what? I don't know, man.
You have to get it out the window.
Yeah, I like drink service on my plane is what I'm saying. I like,
I'm with you there.
Listen, the air travel, you're already crammed in. There's only so many things you can take away from me before I start. I mean, like software, I think of the same way is, hey, too many ads or too much garbage or too much bloat in there, and I'm looking for alternatives. Like low cost should not necessarily mean reduced service. And when you're asking the customer to make sacrifices, not just you don't get perks to make sacrifices. Like, for example, like you can't take anything on the plane with you. Come on, dude. Everyone's got a backpack or a roller bag when they're flying.
Yeah.
Nobody flies with a toothbrush in their pocket and that's it. You know,
Right.
That's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. But that's where we are today, sadly. The perception is an issue here, right? Low cost is perceived to be inferior.
Mm-hmm.
So people think, oh, you pay a little bit more, you'll get more. That's not always true either.
There's a commoditization risk here where like people don't see the advantages of your solution anymore. Like airfare, for example. I have preferred airlines. And I know people that have preferred hotels too because they have points or whatever, that kind of stuff. But some people just get on whatever site they look on for airline and just take the cheapest flight. They don't care what it is. Like it's commoditized. They don't care at all. Home insurance, for example. You come at me with a cheaper rate than I'm getting now, I'm taking it. You know what I mean? That kind of stuff. It's commoditized. It's like nobody uses it anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I get where you're coming from. At the end of the day, though, you got to look deeper, right, as a customer.
Yeah, maybe. Some of these are like, they're just cheap. They're cheap service and not great business models.
Yeah.
You know, but again, like some of these I just would never, I'm not going to fly on an airline. It's like, sorry, Brian, you can't take anything but your toothbrush and I'm going to charge you. Hey, man, I don't want to be nickel and dimed.
Right.
Like, get out of my pocket. And get out of my life. Shut the door on your way out. Who are you? How'd you get in my house? Remember when we talked about the pyramid business model, where like your luxury brand's at the top, and then you're like entry level brand, like the Cadillac brand is at the very top.
Yeah.
That's your premium product, and then the very bottom is like your Chevrolet, whatever entry level, college kid car or whatever. This sort of has vibes of that. It's like this is your low tier product. You're looking to undercut all the market, re-segment all the current competitors into like a mid-tier or a high tier, right? And then come in under them where you can get away where like the majority of people just looking for a cheap ride to the airport or whatever it is, right? You're going to come in and undercut all of them. I think about how easy it would be for someone to kick Uber out of a local market, to just launch like an Uber-like app and just like have the branding of like the driver takes 60%, we take 40%. The driver call it like I'm coming up with a business right now on the spot of like kicking Uber out of a local, hyper local market, just one city at a time. It doesn't have to be a whole city. You know what I mean? Just one like 5 mile block at a time, 5 mile area at a time, saying like we are the driver's app of like when you go with us, the driver is guaranteed to get 60%. We'll show you all of the transparency of billing. And I think with a product like that, I think you could kick Uber out of a market. Like it's like you could be low quality, charge less, make less money, yeah, but you're going up. Each like server and infrastructure, or whatever you stand up would be specific to that city. And if they wouldn't have to scale them bajillion times, or whatever.
Yeah.
So you'd have scale up costs and stuff like that, but it'd be like city by city. You would come in undercutting the market. I wanted to stay on this one a little longer because we beat up the weaknesses of this one a little bit, but I want to point out as the product manager, I see a lot of potential in this, especially in the era of vibe coding, because that's what a lot of the Silicon Valley CEOs and those guys, that's what they're super scared of. They're super scared of people going through and getting rejected from going through and be like, sorry, you're above 40, you got 20 years experience. We're looking for someone with more energy. And they're worried about those people going and vibe coding a replacement solution, dropping it in and just replacing their whole business.
Significant threat to them, though. Yes, agreed.
So this is a great way to get your foot underneath almost any business. The low cost business design, the low cost business model.
Absolutely. Only good things will happen to you if you did that, I think, right? I mean, you could run into the ceiling there of scaling up, but alternatively, one of the big boys will buy out. So there you go.
So the low cost business model, it's about fundamentally redesigning your business for structural cost advantage. So good luck, everyone. Let us know if you put Uber out of business in the comments.